What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
I'm Jason.
and you're listening to Liquid Carnage. What's up, my friend?
Oh my gosh, this is the last day of the year, my friend.
It is. It is. If you're listening to this on release day, we have made it.
We have
We
made
have
it.
made it through 2020.
I don't know if you've seen the new Match.com commercial that's going right now, but it's got the devil, right? And
Uh huh.
he's on Match.com, and he goes to a park where he meets the girl, um, the girl that he's gonna have a date with, and um, she goes, "Are you the devil?" And he goes, "Are you 2020? You can just call me 2020." And it's them going on a date with the virus and like fires and stuff like that, and how they're holding hands and they're all in love. And then at the very end, they're sitting there at night watching the stars, and these meteorites are blowing into to the world to destroy the world. And God, the devil and 2020 are like hand in hand. I just hope it never ends.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just had to chuckle because it was so funny. Just because the devil in 2020, they're like best buds. Match.com. Oh, God.
I tell you what, man, it has been one hell of a year.
Yeah.
It's been
Yeah.
a hell. It's been a hell of a
I,
ride.
I think about it too. In the first 2 or 3 months, we weren't even knee deep in COVID. Remember?
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, we
it
had
feels.
done some traveling and it wasn't even COVID yet. And to think that was in March, April, we traveled, and then the last 8 months, obviously.
I don't even think I traveled. I think all this hit up here in March. Everything shut down here in March.
Okay, okay.
I had a big black tie event we had scheduled for the middle of March, and we had to shut it down the week of because it was getting so bad. And
Oh,
looking back at what we thought was so bad back then, compared to what we've seen now, um, night and day,
yeah,
night and
yeah.
day.
No,
If
I'm
I
with
knew
you.
then what I knew now, I don't think I would have given it a second thought.
Yeah, you would have thought, oh, there's 3 people sick. Big deal.
Yeah, like wow, that's it. Perfect. Let's run with this. But we've learned a lot in 8 months. We've been through a lot in 8 months. 9 months. It's been people are having COVID babies now. People have gotten pregnant and had children in this pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I know. I mean, I have a personal friend who wasn't pregnant during the pandemic, but had a child during the pandemic, and they're all healthy and well. But I thought, gosh, it's kind of like the baby boomers. You come back from World War II, and you just decided we need to start having kids. This might be the same kind of thing. We might see 40 years from now, like all the kids that were born in 2020, 2021.
Yeah. So would this be the COVID boom?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure, but there was a lot of people that didn't have a lot of things to do because they couldn't go out, so they had to think of something.
Yeah, I feel like that this is not the baby boomers were right after the greatest generation. It was the greatest generation that had the baby boomers.
Yeah, right.
So
My grandparents were part of the greatest generation, and my parents were part of the baby boomers.
yeah, that's how mine are too.
Yeah, you're right. Your parents were like right at the end of the baby boom.
Yeah, because that was the mid-50s.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, yeah. It's I feel like that we as a society are the complete opposite of the greatest generation right now, and maybe this is the generation that has a generation that turns the tide. That's what I'm hoping for. That this next generation coming up is infinitely better and handles this world infinitely better than what we're doing right now.
Oh, do you think? Oh, okay, interesting. So you think that the like our generation and the generation behind us are kind of not making it a good place?
I would argue that the generations currently in charge, Gen X, Gen Y, millennials, we are not doing the best of work. We can't get on the same page.
Interesting.
I mean, look, if you think about it, as generations go, we cannot get on the same page. The millennials don't want to work. The Gen Yers don't want to really think much about it. They just want to put their head down and go. The Gen Xers are kind of in that same boat, and the baby boomers don't really want to let go. and nobody can talk to each other about it because everyone sees the world so differently.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm finding that as you know, we're getting further away from the election, and obviously, you know, we're going through that change right now. I find myself um really holding myself accountable to the fact that I can't just easily place someone in to easy buckets to that defines a person.
Yeah,
And I'm trying to be better about not just assuming, well, if this person feels this way about a topic, then they must be this, and this. And I'm finding that that it
that's
it's
hard right now.
hard. It's really hard. I think it's because it is so complicated out there that people are just looking for simple, easy ways to define their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, so it's
maybe.
easy to say, well, anyone who, you know, believes in this, they must think this, and this, and it's easy for them to put a person into an easy classification because ultimately it's just you know, we're not so simplistically designed, right? I mean, all of us are complicated um, individuals, and I think we search for just trying to just let's just put everybody in a easy little bucket so it's easier to siphon through and not have to challenge and, you know, have to think too much about stuff.
Do you think a lot of that comes from a knee jerk reaction? When someone judges you, you automatically judge them on the same harsh level.
I think what I'm finding is that there's more polarity in people's opinions. Like I do feel like when I was younger, you could be a conservative yet want certain welfare programs to help people, right? Or
Yeah, it's called being a moderate.
or
Yeah,
you could be liberal in your thought process yet be um, let's say pro life. You know, there
yeah,
was moderation that allowed people to kind of like, I don't agree with everything they say, but I do agree on this topic, and I can work with them because I agree on this topic. And I think that we've gotten away from that to say it's just easier to say if you're a conservative then you're this and this, and that's it. And if you're a liberal then you're this, and I can't deal with, you know what I mean? That's where I feel like we've gotten away from, is we don't want to take the time to recognize that unfortunately we as humans are not so simplistic in what defines us.
do you think the polarity of that comes from, I don't know, social media, where people have so much more ease and accessibility to posting their thoughts on a platform and able to attack others on that same platform?
I do feel that the social media allows for people not to be questioned about their thoughts or their opinions.
Mm-hmm.
That it's a lot different when you're having a face to face discussion with someone and they bring up a point. It's a lot more difficult when you have someone facing you to say, you know what, your point is flawed because of this, and this. Whereas in social media, you can make a general comment. No one is there to question you. No one is there to stop you and say, you might want to reconsider. And it's easier to
Yeah.
get entrenched in an idea or philosophy because you don't have someone who might challenge you to think a different way. Not to change your
Yeah.
opinion, but to consider a different perspective. I don't know about you, but when I
Yeah.
talk to, I mean, I don't mind, you know, political and philosophical debates for two reasons. One, I like to know what other people think about something because maybe I'm wrong. You know, I mean, I am humble enough to realize that I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the opinions correct, and that maybe my opinion about a topic might be flawed. But what I noticed on the other side is how horrible people are at logically debating. I
Yeah.
mean, really,
Yeah.
it's pretty eye opening to me that a lot of people have opinions that you give them a little bit of a resistance or a question, and they don't know where to go for their next step other than, well, this is just what I believe, which is
Yeah.
fine. I mean, that hey, that's where we're at. But I mean, it's such an eye opening knowledge to know that there's a lot of people out there that just I think don't have the skill sets to be able to debate a topic logically. I mean, and my thing is, hey, you have your opinion, that's great, but you better be able to stand up to someone logically saying your opinion's wrong.
Well, the problem is though, it's in that case is the internet has allowed people to look up any information at any given point in time. For every factual article there might be, there could be 10 articles arguing the opposite, and it's whatever that person chooses to believe for their news source, which makes it a problem.
Well, it brings into question sometimes how someone forms their opinion.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, ultimately, I have to only hold myself accountable, and I recognize that I fall into the trap of not necessarily being open to an idea that is different than what I think is correct. And I need to be open to say, you know what, I need to always keep my fundamental beliefs in question. Maybe my fundamental beliefs are incorrect, or maybe they're flawed the same way logically. That's a flawed philosophy. So,
yeah, maybe.
But
Maybe.
I mean, let's be honest, Scott. How many people out there are willing to say, you know what? I based my life on a certain set of opinions and understandings that now I'm wrong.
You know, and I think that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow. It's because, and it comes back to the internet. It comes back to people being able to blindly state their opinion and not have to face the repercussions of saying what they think directly to someone's face, and being able to attack someone not directly to their face. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. And
You
I mean,
know,
I don't know if you've seen it, but I've seen a lot of people who write an opinion on Facebook and fully acknowledge that I've lost a lot of friends because of my beliefs.
oh
And
yeah,
I'm thinking,
oh yeah.
wow, I mean, could you imagine that 20 years ago that your beliefs would cause you to lose friends?
Well, I look back to even 20 years ago in 2001, 2001. I was in college, and we could have a civil debate because there was no social media. You could tell me what your reasoning was. What's your logic? What are you thinking as we're going through this? And that helps, that helps you figure out the ins and outs of how people think. And you could actually have a civil discussion and maybe change your opinion on a rational basis.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I ultimately, I know that I am only responsible for myself. You know, the other thing I've tried to keep in mind is, you know, what is my goal here? Is my goal to try to change their opinion, or is my goal just to have an expression of ideas and to, you know, pick up something new? Or is my goal simply to just say, hey, look, I don't care what your argument is, but here are flaws in your argument. You might want to work on strengthening these up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to me it depends on the person. Some people I don't even want to mess with. I don't even want to argue with anymore. It's just
Oh,
whatever,
and yeah, I mean, you know, the reality is that's where we get into. Like one of the biggest arguments that I've heard anytime we talk about, you know, politicians and, you know, how they don't tell the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The argument that I get back is, well, all of them lie. You know, everybody lies. And I keep coming back to, well, why does that make that okay then? Well, why does, if everyone lies, why does that,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well, everyone lies, so we're okay with people lying.
Why is the guy that you believe, why are his lies better than the guys that I believe's
Well,
lies?
and my argument is even more simple than that. Why do you accept liars? You wouldn't
Yeah,
accept
there's
that
that
from a
too.
coworker. You wouldn't accept that from your best friend that he lies to you or she lies to you. Why are you okay of accepting it from people who make decisions about the laws that impact your life? You're willing to accept lies from them. I don't understand that logic. That's the kind of logic that sometimes I just question. Like, oh, okay, so lying doesn't mean you don't care about lying anymore.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so, but you know, we're on a new year, and I told myself this year I'm gonna try to do better about not instantly putting someone in a category or a bucket simply because of their beliefs. Because I don't think that even people I strongly disagree with, they're not so simply made. You know,
yeah.
I
I'm
don't know what shaped their opinion. I don't know, you know, walk a mile in my shoes and you'll know what I believe or how I believe what I do. So I need to do better. That's on me. That's not on other people. That's on me.
Well, I'm taking the opposite approach on that. I feel like that if I think you're an idiot because of what you're saying and how your viewpoints are, um, I've unfollowed a lot of people on social media because of that. Yeah, I still want to think we can be friends, and normally face to face we can be friends. But once I see him starting to spew that stuff on social media, I just unfollow him. Uh, I just I take the opposite approach on it, man. It's like I'm done. I don't want to try to understand them. You do you. I'm gonna be 40 this year, so I have more important things to worry about.
Yeah, good point. What are you doing for your birthday? Anything fun?
I don't know because we're in the middle of the pandemic still.
Yeah, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, obviously my birthday is early on in the year,
You're
and
still gonna be
we're not going to be
reaping
out
it.
of this
Yeah,
thing for quite some time. So I don't know what's going on yet. We have plenty of time to sit and think about it. Janice keeps asking me what I want to do, and I'll be honest, I don't know.
yeah.
It's every day I wake up, I'm just hoping I don't have the Rona. So it's a wait and play it by ear. We might just have to celebrate the day and do something bigger for it later on in the year when we're able to, and that's looking like the plan.
Well, yeah. I mean, Noreen's dad was supposed to celebrate his 90th birthday last year, and COVID obviously destroyed that. The saddest part is that his wife of 69 years didn't get to see his 90th birthday because of COVID, and then probably won't see another birthday. So it's a sad reminder that even though 2021's coming, we still have a lot of things that we're missed out on that we'll have to make
Yeah.
up.
So, what would be one life lesson you think you learned in 2020?
Um, a life lesson. I guess one thing that 2020 has taught me is that I am responsible for anything that I want in this life. I'm responsible for that. If I
Yeah,
want to learn a language, you have to put the time in to learn the language. If you want to learn about how to invest and invest better, you need to read books and you need to push yourself. And frankly, if you want to be a better spouse, it doesn't just happen. You have to work at it. You have to make a commitment to work at it. Um, so I think that's been the eye-opening experiences. I've had a lot of good things happen in 2020, but most of those things, I've taken the initiative to go get it. I've taken the
yeah,
initiative to spend the time and commitment to do that. And nothing comes easy anymore. At least in my opinion, nothing comes easy. Even famous people, right? Even the basketball stars and musicians or whoever, we look at the final product, we don't see all the things that they have to do day in, day out on a regular basis to bust their humps to get to where they're going. And
yeah. It's
and
true.
I think that that's been the biggest lesson for me this year is anything I want in this world, I can have it, but I got to earn it. I can't just hope it comes. I've got to earn it, sacrifice for it, whatever. So how about you?
Oh, that's a good lesson. I like that lesson. I learned how to not take things so personally. It's hard in this world. Some things you just take personally, and then at the end of the day, nobody is in charge of your emotions but you, and you can't take things personally, other people's actions personally.
Yeah.
And that was a lesson that took me a while to and it's an ongoing process, but it's a reminder that you have to keep reminding yourself.
Yeah, I think yours and mine are kind of along the same lines that I'm only responsible for my actions. I can't get mad at someone who has a differing opinion than me, but I certainly can get mad at
Yeah,
myself if I judge someone so harshly because their opinion happens to be different than mine. That's on me, you know.
yeah,
And I've kind of decided for 2021 that I don't want to be that person who just says, "Well, you and I are so fundamentally different on our beliefs that I don't want to have anything to do with you," because frankly, there's a lot of good people out there, a lot of people who've done some great things for me in my life that I don't believe in personally. I don't believe them
Yeah.
personally, but I would hate to lose out on them in my life simply because I've put them in a bucket that they have no chance of getting out of.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's been an adventure, man. There's been a lot of ups and downs, and I think the fact that there was a quarantine, and hopefully this is the only time in our lives we'll ever have to face something like this. I think it gave people an opportunity to learn a lot about themselves, a lot about their friends and family, and what they want to do in this world. And hopefully, we walk away from this when it's all said and done. Just keep improving on ourselves and not make the same mistakes. And we all as a society learn something from this and just we're better as people.
Yeah, yeah, I think that I could live with that. I mean, I feel like even as tough as 2020 has been, I know for my personal development, my personal growth, I've made some great strides that I really want to carry forward into 2021 and beyond.
Yeah.
I mean, I've read a very high number of books so far in 20, from my start of my birthday through the end of the year, and I want to continue doing that because I found something I really enjoy. But also it helps me enlighten me to other questions or other things that I've learned, that are just fascinating about the human experience.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm hoping that 2021 can be continuation of that. Obviously, I'm happy I survived COVID. Um, you know, I I didn't have a great experience with it, but I could have been a lot worse. So that made me feel good about 2020. Um, I've lost some people that were close to me this year, which has been kind of sad. But you know, I still have the Noreen and I still have my friends, and I feel blessed about that.
That's good. I mean, that's a good way to look at it. I mean, what will be, and our lives are always evolving. And as long as you're willing to accept the evolution and roll with it, I think that's how you improve as a person.
Who knows? Maybe this year's New Year's will be even more meaningful to people too.
Oh, yeah, I would hope so. I would
I
hope
mean,
so.
it definitely has shifted for a lot of people what the idea of um, the human experience.
Hmm.
I'm sure a lot of people in the frontline medical industry have a totally different view of the human experience dealing with this day in day out like this.
Oh yeah, and and being inside the hospital every day of this for the most part has been eye opening, and it's been, I think, for the EP and I, a fairly traumatic last few months of the year where they've been going on with their dad and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
you're right. There's a lot to be thankful for and a lot to celebrate going into the year, but you just hope that people can appreciate it.
Yeah, or at least acknowledge that there's some things that came out of it that are hopefully better.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, that's we'll see. We'll see. Is there anything fun you'd like to try to do in 2021? Like, I don't know, go to a movie theater?
yeah. Well, I'm kind of I
Immune?
have the antibody in me. I'm a little bit more open to going to the movie theater now because I feel a little bit of extra protection.
That's true. You
Um,
you and Noreen can actually go out and enjoy a movie.
yeah, yeah. Enjoy dinner again, lunches and stuff like that. Because we're gonna still wear our masks. We're still gonna social distance, do everything that we need to do to protect others. But there is, I remember going out over the weekend and feeling like, yeah, I feel pretty good, and I have an antibody still for a few months. So I mean, it was awesome.
You're basically Superman.
I felt a little bit like Superman, a little
Yeah,
bit. I
I can
mean,
see that.
so that was kind of nice. I mean, it's so weird too because we just found out that a friend of ours down here in Phoenix, her and her mother, who's 85, just got COVID.
Hmm.
They've been sick for 4 days and basically have had a sore throat. That's it.
So it's crazy how it affects everybody.
Exactly. I was for 4 days on death's door, and they were like, I just have a sore throat, but I feel fine. I don't have any symptoms, no fever. I'm like, what the crap, man?
Yeah, and that's the hard part through this whole thing too. It's light symptoms. You don't know because the weather right now in Arizona is very weird. It's either 70 degrees and nice, or the weather is abominable.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
not like it's a stretch of 5 or 6 days. It's one day like that, one day like the other. So your allergies are going nuts. Your body can't adjust. So you don't know if you have COVID, allergies, or you're just tired.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I know that and I know that it's possible I could get this again, right? I mean, there's no guarantee that I'm now safe and immune and
Yeah,
don't have to worry about it.
they said the
Um,
antibodies last about 6 months.
okay, so my thought is, well, I wonder what happens if I get the second time. Do I have at least something still in my body that knows how to fight it, or does it get worse? I don't know.
Sounds like a bad Disney animation sequel.
Yeah, something like that. But
Oh, well,
but
I guess as we wrap up the show, the last show of 2020, and we move onward toward 2021 in Liquid Carnage season 5. Just want to thank you guys for riding along with us. Tell us your experiences through the pandemic. What did you learn? Was it positive? Was it negative? Give us a good story. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage. If you have any ideas for a New Year's resolution for our EP, Tom, hit him up on Instagram and Twitter at liquid_EP.
thank you for ever listening, everybody. It's been an interesting 2020, but we're looking forward to 2021. And like you said, we're going to be starting season 5 in April or May. So we have a lot to look forward to. A lot of great conversations. So thanks for listening, everybody. That was Scott. I am Jason, and as always, if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some liquid carnage.